welcome. My name is Caleb, and today I'm joined by my good friend Jadon and Michael. Welcome to the show, guys. We're gonna talk about the kinds of cars you can get for less than 10 grand.
Yeah, so this is a 2010 Mercedes S550, more known as the W221 chassis.
Yeah, I got a 2011 Saab 9.5 with the 4-cylinder 2-liter engine that has a turbo on it, with a couple additional optional features in its package.
Okay, and now you got yours for how much, Michael?
$8,000.
$8,000. And Jane?
$7,500.
Currently, there is approximately 185,000 miles on this car. It's quite a bit, but due to the build quality and the way this car was taken care of over time, it has held up incredibly well.
It's barely broken in.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jane, how many miles are on your car?
Mine is just shy of 100,000 miles.
What made you want to go out and get a Saab, which is probably the most interesting question of all. Why a Saab? Right.
I'm a guy who really enjoys unique experiences, and there's nothing more unique than a Saab. I mean, a company that's been dead for several years now at this point. And so this beauty I found on Auto Trader that had a couple optional packages, including the stock heads-up display, which is super cool. But I'm also a guy who loves a theme. And the thing about Saabs is they nailed the theme because they also created fighter jets.
Yes.
And so when it comes to the interior, everything from the vents to the push to start button, it all feels like you are piloting a fighter jet. And it's just a very unique one-off experience that I just had to try. Once again, just the driving experience. It's super smooth. It's an incredibly safe car. I mean, typically when you hear safety, you think either Volvo or Saab. They have incredible reviews. If you go online, look up Saab, that's one of the #1 things everybody mentions about it. On top of that, I'd have to say the interface is pretty nice. I have the optional navigational system, which is super cool. It comes with Sirius XM, which is super fun.
I think the design has held up incredibly well over time. You wouldn't look at this car and think that it's as old as it is. This car was spec'd with the optional AMG appearance package, also a panoramic sunroof. It has a different front fascia, rocker panels, and rear fascia, and it comes with the AMG wheels as well. It gives a more of a sporty look to a luxury car. The interior materials are very high quality, uses real wood on the interior, and I don't use the rear seat a lot, but when I do, it's usually I'm taking adults. So the legroom is enormous in the back. Everybody's incredibly comfortable. The trunk is huge, a lot of storage options. And it's just overall a very nice place to spend time. I do a lot of driving for work, and I'm spending a lot of time in the car, and it's just a fantastic experience getting to drive the car. It's crazy. It even has things like massaging seats and different color options that you can use in the interior with lighting. It has heated and cooled seats, a bunch of different settings for everything. The stereo, the whole system is fantastic. But cons can just be overall parts. Depending on the part, it can be a little bit more pricey.
That was gonna be my next question. So what have you guys had to do? Obviously, high mileage Mercedes and relatively high mileage, Saab. What have you guys had to do repair wise, or just like talk me through the cost of ownership of the car?
Yeah, for sure. When we picked this up, I picked it up roughly a month ago at this point. We went through changing all the fluids, giving it an oil change, a wash, all of that. We had to replace a couple sensors. One of them was with the engine that helps with the timing of the pistons and lets the car know about that. It's roughly like a $60 repair. But once we swapped the part, the engine light went away and it's been driving super smooth. We're gonna have to replace both of the rear bulbs into a LED bulb back there. So once again, a relatively inexpensive swap. It's more of the time than anything that it takes, of just almost death by 1,000 paper cuts, if you will.
All I've done to the car so far is I removed the air box. I cleaned it all out because it sat in more of an area that had some trees and things like that. So some debris had gotten in the air boxes. There's 2 air filters for the engine. I replaced both of those. Those were literally $20. I did the cabin air filters as well. Again, those was $30-some. And I went ahead and put new tires on the car just because I'm driving it a lot. These tires have been fantastic. Just the standard price of a tire, really. And I haven't really had to do a whole lot else. I've done 2 oil changes so far. And it's one of the easiest oil changes I think I've ever done. Again, it's very inexpensive to do that, very simple to do that, something that you could definitely do yourself. And just overall cleaning, just resetting the car, going through some things. I've got a few more things that I would like to do to it, like new kick plates when you enter the cabin that aren't as scratched. And then just maybe a few preventative mechanical things, because the key with this car, what I was figuring out in my research, is the M273 engine, naturally aspirated 5.5 liter V8. The timing chain on it is absolutely massive. It's very well built, goes with the theme of the car, but Mercedes interval for oil changes is 10,000 miles. At this point, a lot of people recommended that you do it every 5,000 miles. So that's what I go ahead and do, just to help preserve the engine and keep it running.
Cool. Well, we're gonna get these cars on the road. Okay, so Jadon, how much legroom do you have back there?
Oh, I have so much legroom here. I feel like I'm sitting in the driver's seat right now. I can stretch as far as I want back here.
Holy cow. You want me to move my seat up for you?
No, you're good. It won't change a thing back here.
And they even made a longer wheelbase Maybach option.
Oh, a longer wheelbase than this already is?
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. I feel like I'm driving a yacht right now, dude. This is a absolute boat of a car.
Yeah, it's big, but I like that it composes itself pretty well.
Yes.
I've driven some old Cadillacs, and you do not stop moving up and down, especially on like highways or bumps. This thing handles pretty decent.
Yes. I was just about to say, like, talk about like performance of the car. Like, obviously we'll floor it here in a minute, but man, like the handling, the steering is, for such like a huge car, it's so precise, dude.
Yeah,
like,
it's pretty light steering,
yes,
but it's also pretty responsive at the same time.
Yes. Like literally, I can just sit here, one hand on the wheel, and just like barely even move it, and it like responds to me, you know? It's crazy that you can get a car of this quality. Now, and then again, it does have a lot of miles on it, but still, like, this doesn't feel like it has that mileage, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you drive, I mean, you've probably driven other high mileage cars.
Yes, I have.
And this, and I have too. My previous car had over 260,000 miles on it. And this is just held up 10 times better than any of them.
Yeah. I mean, this feels like a car that has 50,000 miles, you know?
Exactly.
And it's got 184.
And that's part of the reason why I chose to buy it. I know it was kind of a risk, but the previous owners did maintain the car extremely well.
Yes.
Maintenance was never skipped.
The ride on this car is unbelievable too, man. I mean, this is so comfortable.
So yeah,
this is definitely a highway cruising car.
It is, and the car has air suspension. So it has a system that helps regulate body roll and all these different things, but because of that air suspension, it is incredibly comfortable.
Yeah. I think Jadon can attest to comfortableness in the back.
Oh, absolutely. Give me a pillow.
Speaking of that, there was actually headrest pillows that you could buy with the car.
Oh my god.
Because you need that.
Why aren't they in the car right now, Mike? Well, think of Jadon. He's probably dying back there.
Right.
That was actually that was actually the upgrades that was on my list, is I wanted to go get the factory correct headrest pillows for the rear seats, and there might have been some for the front seats. I have to still do some research on
the front seat, huh?
Have to do some research on that
Better be auto steering with that as well.
Oh my gosh. Jadon, seriously, how comfortable is that? Probably the best back seat you've ever been in?
Oh my goodness, yeah, it'd be so great. I love it. I have enough room where, like, if I wanted to work on a laptop back here, I can do that. There's an ashtray back here if I smoked. You know, we got that as well. Really, the only thing that's missing is a coffee maker inside of here.
Oh,
I'm living the life right now.
It's like a chauffeur for this man, dude.
Yeah,
Nice and pampered. This is amazing.
I think you need to start driving for me, dude.
a lot of people bought this car to do that.
Yeah.
They would get picked up from a meeting to go right to another meeting, and they would have someone driving them. So there's plenty of room back there for your bags, for paperwork to go through, if you're doing anything before the meeting, things like that.
pretty quick.
Listen to that engine.
That's pretty quick, dude. how heavy is this car? What's the weight? Do you know?
Very heavy. That's
About maybe.
I could get you a number, but it's very heavy. But the car has 382 horsepower.
Turbo, right?
No.
Oh,
it's
naturally aspirated
Wow, power.
Wow. I mean, I just stepped on the gas and like it took maybe like 1 second or so for the engine to make up its mind, and then just boom, right off the line, you know? I gotta say too, the overall build quality of this car, man, is extremely nice. I mean, this is one of the nicest interiors I think I've been in a long time,
And
dude.
again, this car
Man.
has 184,000 miles.
Yes, and it doesn't look like it at all, man. This is still such a nice car, man, to own and drive. Wow, I am blown away by how nice this is.
And again, that's part of why I bought it. Is this was the
Yes.
best quality used car that I could find for the money.
I mean, overall, man, this car, I think it's got great engine performance for being how big and I'm sure how heavy it is. The handling is really nice too. Build quality, very comfortable in here, very well built. I would say both front and rear seating is immaculate, you know? Now, the overall value for money though, so you paid how much for this?
I paid $8,000 for it.
$8,000 for it. So that's less than 10% of the original cost.
So depreciation with an S-Class is the eighth wonder of the world because it is absolutely
You're not joking,
enormous.
man. Man.
You know, a lot of the subject of the video is what you can get for $10,000 or less in the used car market.
Yeah.
And this, I made a list of things I was looking for. This car checked all the boxes. And again, value for money, I could not find a nicer vehicle for better money.
Yes.
And two, with that $2,000 that I didn't spend, I can plan for maintenance items. That's a big deal with used cars.
Yes.
Especially for these cars. So if something breaks, if I have to put another $1,000 or $2,000 into it, I'm not surprised. I planned for it from the beginning.
Yes. Yeah.
Going through all that paperwork, seeing exactly what's been done to the car, and planning for known quantities that haven't been done. So that, it really made this car work well for the budget.
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful car. I look forward to, I plan on keeping it for a while and just enjoying it, driving it.
Man, I still can't get over it. It's just so different compared to my Fiat going around these corners, dude. I'm like, okay, we're turning, we're still turning, we're turning. Oh, we've made the turn now. Okay, now you can go straight.
But for daily driving, it is just, it
Yes,
perfectly fills.
that's where it shines. Yes, yes. Yeah, I'm interested to see how this compares to the Saab because I think I've literally maybe been in a Saab once in my whole life, so I'm interested to see how that compares to this, you know?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting.
I'm sure Jadon is too.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so here we are. We're in the Saab, Jadon.
Let's go.
We're in the Saab, and already I can say this. It definitely feels a little more compact than the boat that the Mercedes is. So I'm interested to see how it is to actually get out on the road and drive, you know?
Right. This is maybe the one comparison where I can say the Saab is probably lighter. Because the Saab itself is still pretty heavy for a car. I mean, that's just what comes with it, with the safety that they try to have with Saabs. And obviously this one being the 9.5, it's bigger than the 9.3. But with that, they are able to fit a lot of different aesthetic pieces in it.
Yeah.
And that's what I really like about it. They picked the classic Saab theme of we're going for the jet pilot look.
I feel like everything's pointed and centered at me, the driver, you know? It's very much like a driver-focused machine, I guess. That's the best way I can describe it. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I'm getting, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And especially the green color in it as well is very an aviation theme. And I'm sure you can see in there, you've got 3 different speedometers, which is insane.
Yes. I've got the middle digital one, then I've got the traditional, you know, speedometer, and then I've got the heads-up display. So,
One other feature is this night panel button.
okay.
Because, you know, there's a lot of different gauges and info that the car is throwing at you, which is very nice.
Yes.
But let's say you just want to cruise and experience the car for what it is, especially when it's dark and you have so many lights going on.
Yeah.
You push this button, shuts everything off except for your heads-up display, which you can also turn off, and your basic arching speedometer.
Okay, yeah.
Everything else is muted. And so you get this nice aesthetic, vibrant green glow from all the different buttons.
I'm in stealth mode right now.
You're in stealth mode. It's pretty sweet. Nobody will see the bright white car outside. Nobody.
Yes.
But that's just a really cool, unique thing that, like, I never thought I wanted it until I've used it. And now I'm like, I want that for all my cars.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I think the Mercedes has the better build quality, of interior speaking and ride-wise and whatnot. But this car is very nice, I will say. It's something unique and special, which I always appreciate in a car, you know. So there's a sense of occasion to driving a car like this, you know.
Well, you know, Saab, they're no longer around, which is just heartbreaking because they're a really cool manufacturer. And so I'm like, right now, I can still get my hands on a Saab, so I might as well experience it while I can before, you know, as Father Time continues to get older and time moves on, it'll just be harder and harder to find good Saabs. And I mean, the seats are pretty nice.
And the back seat is very comfortable.
Yeah, how are you back there?
Yeah.
It's great. I've got plenty of leg room. The seats are comfortable. I think overall the car is a little louder than the Mercedes is, but again, that's to be expected.
Yeah.
But again, like you were talking about, I think the vents are really unique, and you can see the dash and all that from up here. Unique experience, and I love the dual pane sunroof as well. This car has that. I mean, it's more of one piece than the Mercedes is kind of two pieces.
No.
But it's pretty nice back here. I've got plenty of headroom as well. So the
Yes.
Mercedes was never designed to be a sports car, but it's got a couple features that make it feel sporty. Versus this, the interior and the design is more unique. So if you're looking for the best combination between a unique driving experience and a unique car, then this is the perfect fit.
Yeah.
Whereas the Mercedes is more of a ultra high-end luxury car. And if that's something you're looking for more of, then that car would be better.
Yeah. So, Jadon, remind me, you paid how much for this car?
I paid $7,500 for this car.
I would say this car is almost the best of both worlds, you know? Like, you get very nice interior, very nice car to drive, very easy car to live with, but this is very much a sporty sedan that you can drive and still have fun with and not sacrifice, you know, enthusiastic driving, you know?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
There we go.
There it is. You hear that turbo go.
I did, yeah. It took a second for that turbo to kick in, but once it did, it's got some power to it. It's got some power to it.
I think on a smaller displacement engine like this, the turbo is perfect.
Yes.
It really gives the engine a little extra life and a little power, so you don't drive along thinking that it's incredibly underpowered.
Yeah. I will admit, I would like a little more juice out of this car, but at the end of the day, for buying a sedan, you can still have fun with it. Yeah, it just goes to show, you know, that like, this car, the Mercedes, they're both great cars. There's great deals waiting just to be found online, you know. You just have to be willing to go out and actually like look for them, you know. Like, it's gonna take effort, but great cars are worth seeking after, you know. Go out and find a car that speaks to your soul, that speaks to your heart.
Hi everyone, I just wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my YouTube videos. It truly means the world to me, and I cannot say thank you enough. Last thing I'll say is all glory to God. God bless. Have a great rest of your day.